Okay, welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. Good day. I've been feeling a little stuck in my day to day. I know I mentioned that in my last video, and I kind of brought that up as the reason for creative adulting and wanting to reconnect with my artistic hobbies. Let's call them that. Anyways, I thought about how to get into our kind of creative swing of things because for me it was ceramics, and it's a lot of fun, but it hasn't always been ceramics. Sometimes it's photography, sometimes it's painting, and I'm not great at these. But the point is to find a creative outlet that feels good and just kind of allow yourself to fall into it a little bit and have fun just for the sake of having fun. But babe, where's your creative outlet? Ceramics. Ceramics is definitely my outlet right now. It hasn't always been. It's been photography for a really, really long time, and then I got kind of just burnt out on that, and it didn't really feel like my passion anymore. It very much started to feel like work. And so I started taking ceramics classes just for fun because watching people make ceramics looked so fun and so therapeutic and meditative. And I was like, oh, for sure, this is the next big thing I do. And by no means do I want to start a business with this passion because the last one I did that with, exhausting, burnt me right on out, made me not really enjoy that craft anymore. And I know if I went back to it, that it could be a lot more fun, especially if I didn't treat it like a job, but more as a passion, an outlet, a hobby, exactly what it is meant to be, anyways. That I think I would enjoy it a lot more. But for now, ceramics really has all of my attention. I love it. But it might not be your thing. So I was really adamant that when I started this YouTube channel about being creative as an adult, that I didn't want it to be about ceramics. Because my passions might not be your passions. And that's awesome. That's freaking great. But how do we tap into our passions? How do we tap into that creative well? Especially if we've never really had that experience before. I was very lucky in going to art school. I don't know why I keep looking over there. I do this every time, but that damn branch, my ADD is on one right now. Anyways, I was very lucky, fortunate enough to go to art school, and I got to practice my chosen craft, photography, but I also got to take extracurriculars and I got to explore in other arts. And it's interesting because when I was in school, we had this, you pick your major and then you take the classes for that major, and you can't just be a fine arts major, you have to be an illustration major or a painting major or a photography major or an advertising major. And like there was no, this is a long story that nobody's asking for, doesn't even relate to half of you, so I apologize if I'm just going off on a rant right now. But basically I got to explore some creative outlets and I got to find what was and wasn't for me. Basically, for those of us who haven't gone to art school and we're regular ass adults just living in our day to day, our 9 to 5, just trying to get by, but also like feel something, boy, do I got the goodies for you. This is The Artist's Way. I was gifted this book a couple years back and I have flipped through it. I have read a couple of tidbits here and there. I've done a couple of the exercises. I've taken some of the advice, but I've never fully gone through this 13-week challenge, and I've never fully gone through even one of the weeks. So, but this year, on January 1st, I decided that one of my goals for this year was to complete the 13-week challenge. And what better time, as I'm looking at my calendar, what better time than right the hell now? Have fun, get creative, find you a hobby. If you don't know what you like, find what you like. You are literally in the driver's seat. You're the only person who gets to fill up your schedule, so fill it up with things that you enjoy doing. Or at least things that you might want to explore, because you might enjoy doing them. I think it's important to just make the effort to reconnect with that creativity and that little bit of fun. I think that if our outer world sucks, our inner world's gonna start to suck, and then we're gonna start to suck. It leaks into everything. And I don't want to suck. I want to be happy. I want to be vibrant. I want to be inventive and motivated and inspired and creative and I don't know, all the good things. So I want to go through my artist date really quick with you, discuss what came up for me, and yeah, yeah, let's do that. So at the start of the book, Julia Cameron refers to the creative process as something of a spiritual happening. She refers a lot to the creator, and she often uses the word God, which I know can be very triggering. But if this doesn't resonate with you, use whatever you feel like using. She says you can use the word hot dog if you want. There's a quote early on in the introduction part of the book, actually, that kind of shifted my perspective. The page reads, "Those who speak in spiritual terms routinely refer to God as the creator, but seldom see the creator as the literal term for artist." I'm suggesting you take the term creator quite literally. You are seeking to forge a creative alliance, artist to artist, with the great creator. That being an artist is a lot like playing God in your own creative universe. You are the great creator. You are God. But essentially, as creatives, as artists, we build up this imaginary world in whatever medium we use, and we play God. We build, we create, and we dictate the rules of that creative space, of that universe. And if I am God and I am the great creator, where are my limits really? Is it recording? Good morning. It's really, really cold out. I don't know if you can hear them. They are going off right now. The ducks, the birds. This thing does not want to stay straight. It's driving me bananas. So, anyways, good morning. It's cold. It's a little chilly today. I've decided that I'm going to be doing the Artist Way challenge, and I've probably gone into that in the intro, but in case I didn't, we'll start here. Basically, the Artist Way challenge is a 13-week challenge, workbook situation thing written by Julia Cameron. I really hope you can hear these ducks. Oh my God, they're so precious. I've decided my artist date today was going to be a little coffee drive. I used to do these all the time. I'd wake up at the butt crack of dawn, get ready for sunrise, and I'd make myself a little coffee, and I'd grab my journal, or usually like my recorder. I sometimes, when I'm doing my coffee drives, I don't like to pull over to journal, but I do tend to word vomit, and I always have something to say. So I used to go on these like little coffee drives, journal drives situation. I used to have a podcast called Journal Drives, and it was essentially all the ramblings that happened whilst out on my coffee drives. But basically, long story short, point is, I love me a sunrise drive. And especially now that I live in California, I grew up in New York. And so while I love New York, California just feels a lot like vacation. And especially when I catch a good sunrise coming over the mountains and the palm trees and the birds are starting to sing to me and the ducks are going off and there's fog just like hanging out just above the little lake over here. And God, it's so beautiful. And I just forgot for a second how grateful I am just to be here. Let's go on a drive. So, what does the Artist Way entail? Like I said, it's a 13-week challenge, and essentially every week you have a little bit of reading to do. It is still a book, but you get a little bit of reading to do, and it's kind of like self-helpy. And then there are some exercises, there are affirmations, there are fill in the blanks, there's space on the side for your little notes and doodles and shit. Look, we love that. Are you kidding? We love that. There's a couple of exercises. This is a wish list, and there are some tasks in here that are just kind of like visualization tasks a lot of the time. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Basically, you go through, you do a little bit of reading, you get inspired, you read your affirmations and your gratitudes, and essentially at the beginning of every day, you're supposed to do 3 morning pages. Those are non negotiable. Every morning, you write 3 pages, and it's supposed to be a brain dump. So it's not supposed to sound good. You're not even supposed to go back and read them. It's essentially just whatever comes up. And I know for me in the beginning, a lot of times when I was first journaling in general, like nothing would come up. And I'm like, I don't understand how people journal. What are we writing about? Um, but they are non negotiable. So you do have to write your 3 pages. And every morning, if you've got nothing to say, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Just 3 full pages of that until one day eventually something will come to you and you'll be like, I have no idea what to say, but this is on my mind. And who knows, that could be your next 3 pages. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I don't get a full 3 pages done. My hand cramps up after about a page and a half, and I'm not a writer personally. You might be, and this might not be your issue, but if you're not, that's okay. Practice anyway. Practice following through as often and as regularly as you can, because that's The whole point is to practice and to remind yourself that you deserve to be a priority. And then again, at the end of every week or wherever in the week you decide, once a week basically, you take yourself out on an artist date, and the artist date is meant to be time and space for you and you alone. It's not a friend date, it's not a significant other date, it's not meant to socialize. It's literally meant for you to spend time by yourself and figure out who you are, what you want, all the things, and treat yourself a little bit. Something nice, you deserve it, you know. Oh, the main to-dos are your morning pages, your 3 morning pages, non-negotiable every morning, and then once a week you take yourself on that artist date. And she says here, in doing your morning pages, you are sending, notifying the universe and yourself of your dreams, dissatisfactions, hopes, and such. In doing your artist date, you are receiving, opening yourself up to insight, inspiration, and guidance. She says here, boredom is what's the use in disguise, which is exactly to sound bored. What's the point, right? And she says, boredom is what's the use in disguise? And what's the use is fear. Fear means that you are secretly in despair. And it can be super scary to spend quality time one on one with anyone. Getting to know a new person is awkward and uncomfortable and scary, but you just might find that that person is the love of your life or the BFF you've been waiting for forever, right? Now imagine that you've never really taken the time to spend with yourself, getting to know yourself, the things that you like and dislike and value. It's going to be uncomfortable getting to know you and spending that time with you. And especially if you haven't done it before, it might feel a little bit like, I don't want to say what's the point again, but it might feel silly. It might feel like you don't deserve that kind of time and attention. You have more important things going on. Maybe you've got kids at home, pets who need you, bills to tend to, a job to get to. If you never carve out that time for yourself to fill your own cup, when is it going to happen? When are you going to put back into your cup? When is there ever going to be time for figuring out who you are and what you want if you don't ever make the time? Again, you are the only person who's allowed to fill your schedule. Fill it with shit that makes you feel good, makes you feel happy, makes you look forward to and get excited about the day. Julia says in here that spending time in solitude with your artist child is essential to self nurturing, and that you're likely to find yourself avoiding your artist dates out of fear of self intimacy. It's difficult. I feel like as creatives, not even as creatives, just as adult human beings, we need to learn to be self nurturing. And that can be exhausting and difficult because as you're growing up, these are kind of the things that nobody really teaches you about being a healthy, happy, functioning adult. Because as it turns out, there aren't many of them roaming around. And the few that there are, we call them crazy. We call them cuckoo heads. We call them mystics or dreamers. The girls who get it, get it. The girls who don't. It can be hard to put yourself first or even to think that you deserve any time for that. Even if you don't have kids, I feel like it's just adulting can be so difficult and there can be so many things to worry about that it might feel like your happiness is not necessarily one of those top priorities. And I get that. But you know that's cuckoo bananas, right? You deserve to be happy. You deserve an outlet that lets you function throughout your regular day so that you don't explode, so that your cup is always full by you, because you can't really rely on other people to fill your cup for you always. It won't work after a while, you know? At some point you have to do it for yourself because your confidence is going to be like down here if you feel like you can't do anything without the help or support of other people. I know, I've been there. Good morning. So, I forgot to film an outro. That's okay. We are human here. Did I wake up and immediately go straight to working on this? Yes, because I'm excited about it. He hates it. He doesn't like cuddles. Anyways, good morning and goodbye. This is my outro that I forgot to film yesterday. Long story short, this is just the first week of the Artist Way Challenge for me. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm sure that I will get a lot better at filming it and sharing it for you guys as well. So be patient with me. I appreciate y'all. But I'm excited. I'm really excited. And if anybody else has ever heard of this book, if anybody else has ever done this challenge before, if anybody else wants to follow along, let me know down below. I have no friends, so be my friend. That weird? Like if you feel like it, but definitely subscribe. Don't be shy. Just watch my videos. I've got nothing else. I hope that your day is freaking awesome. I love you. This doesn't get less awkward, does it? It might. Who knows? I don't know. I don't. No. Yeah. Can we start over? And I know if I...